Hi, I'm Lindsay, and I need your help. But before we begin, I feel like I need to tell you a little bit about my story. So let's go back. Okay, kind of far back, to 15 years ago when I was 16. Yes, that's me on the screen, the gangly girl with a perm, and I was wishing every single night on a star for my very first kiss. Even at 16, I was a hopeless romantic and in love with love. But there was one big missing piece, and that was my confidence. I never felt pretty enough or good enough. Maybe it was the perm. So flash forward light years ahead and a heck of a lot of breakups. And there I was, 25, sitting in the middle of a bookstore in Chicago, brokenhearted, looking for hope. I was desperate for something, anything, to make me feel better. I couldn't find my way out of the pain there. I didn't know how to stop hurting. And if I'm telling the truth, I don't think I wanted to stop hurting. And perhaps it was because I didn't want to see. I didn't want to see that the reason why I was going through all these breakups was because the problem was me. I was the one settling for the guys that didn't want what I wanted. I was the one trying to convince the guys to be with me after I broke up. Because I didn't want to have to do the work anymore. I just wanted to find Mr. Right. And I wasn't getting any younger. And I started to get scared that I was going to be alone for the rest of my life, or the old lady with cats. Flash forward to 5 years later. I was with the man that I knew in my gut was the one. I had finally not settled. He was the one I wanted to marry. And then one night he came home and he told me he couldn't do it anymore. And it was at that moment a courage came over me, one that I had never felt before. I wasn't willing to settle anymore. I wasn't willing to convince anyone anymore. At that moment, I just simply said, okay, if that's what you want, it's time for me to walk away. So I started writing, and I realized that I actually loved writing. In fact, so much so that I started a blog. My writing became a form of therapy for myself. It was something about myself that I always knew I loved, but I was always scared to venture into. I would go to places alone to write. I would go to dinner alone. I was finally letting myself go through the pain. Believe me, I cried in work most days. This time I made sure I set myself up right. I surrounded myself with friends. I booked a crazy travel schedule. I didn't allow myself to just sit at home and sulk and feel sorry for myself. And through that and so much more, a few things happened. I began to heal. For once, I felt happy after a breakup and like I could actually do anything and be anything. And most importantly, I discovered my passions in my life. So I began my journey to writing a book 8 months into the breakup, based on the stories from the blog. And now I hope that these stories will help somebody else. I've decided to self-publish, and I don't want this book to go unread. So that's where I need you. Help me publish this book, so that every girl out there with a broken heart can take the journey back to herself. All I need you to do is head on over, push the little button, and give $10 and get your copy of It's Not the, oh my God, I don't even know the name of my book. It's Just the Beginning. Break up, get up, and walk away.